Hi folks, I'm Matt and welcome to My Expanded Universe, a show where I go through the entire EU in chronological order as best I know how. Woo! Hey, we're going to be bouncing around a little bit here, and the first place I want you to go is to the Star Wars Adventure Journal, issue 11, okay? As you know, the Adventure Journal were these little books that were kind of RPG mixed with some beautiful fiction in between. I loved them. So, the first one was called The Most Dangerous Foe. It's written by Angela Phillips. Now, this is a story told during the Hoth evacuation. So technically, it could possibly happen between, issues 16 and 17 of Marvel comic books. So while we're looking at Luke and Han, fighting on this planet, meanwhile, the evacuation is wrapping up and someone is telling his kids or people this story of a Jedi who lived 4,000 years ago. Her name is Vesey Ramuni. And she, at least I think that's how you pronounce it, and she is trying to travel to the Cave of Truth, and it's a test. Now, I don't know how he got his hands on this tale and why he is telling it at this time. I guess, to tell about, I don't know. There's some lesson at the end. I can't remember the story that well. I remember not liking this story. Now, I got to be honest with you. Back in the early days when I was reading stuff, I wasn't that big a fan of these stories that took place thousands of years before the original trilogy. I just thought it was pointless. This story was nice. I don't know why they wanted to do it. Remember, not much. Besides Tales of the Jedi, there wasn't that much out there about the old Republic in a way. So, and why would you tell your kids a story about a Jedi that lived 4,000 years ago? How'd you get the story? I don't know. So, it's okay, but it does happen during the Hoth evacuation. They make sure it tells you it happens in between this time. Why that's imperative, I have no idea. The story could have happened at any time. Why not just tell a story that was 4,000 years in the past? Yeah, I don't get that. But either way, that's how Angela wanted to format it and put it together, so that's how she did it. Like I said, decent, but, passable. So let's go back to the classic Star Wars comic books, and we're going to go to issue 19, where Raskar, the space pirate from previous issues, where Han was, trying to get all those power gems, well, he comes back, and he forces Luke and Han to go on this treasure hunt on Hoth, because there be treasure up in them mountains on Hoth. Raskar is a character, I didn't really talk about him. I wanted to talk about his helper Miria, because I thought she was way more interesting. But he's a character that we've seen before, and so they bring him back here for, what's about to be the end. And actually, let's go ahead and get to issue 20. Issue 20 basically wraps up, it's the big finale for this series, or for the comic strip. Boba Fett is in it. Score comes back. If you remember Score, the encounter at Ord Mantell, that bounty hunter is back, and he's seeking revenge against Han. And I don't care about spoilers on this one. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But Score dies at the end of the comic book. Now, if you blink, you miss it. And there was one author who actually missed Score's death, just forgot he was dead. But it happens in like 2 panels. First off, Han tackles Score, and then they have it's a silhouette. It's a fight for the gun, and then it goes off, and then you see Han walking away, because I guess they can't show a dead body. I don't know. He said, "Oh, we struggled for it, and it went off and killed him." And so he's dead. Score's out of it. And that was kind of it. The end of Score. Kind of anticlimactic there. And now I say some people missed that. And one author was Kevin J. Anderson. Years later, when Kevin J. Anderson was writing the Young Jedi Knights books, he had a plan to bring Score back. And Score was supposed to be the young children's novel Return to Ord Mantell was supposed to feature the return of Score, the bounty hunter. And he was out seeking revenge against Han Solo after all these years. And while he was doing an interview, it was our very own Rich Hanley who said, "You do know Score is dead, right?" And he went, "What? No, he's not." Because he only remembered the original run of that classic Star Wars series. No, he died later on. And it was just a mix-up with Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm didn't even realize that Score was dead either. All they knew was he was in those issues from the Ord Mantell issues, and they just sent him that. everyone had forgotten that he was in the last part of the comic strip, or issue 20 of classic Star Wars. That's sad. You're a memorable character, but no one remembered that you died. It's like when, that famous, obscure TV actor died, and we go, what, he died? Yeah, he's been dead for years. Shut up. When did he die? I don't remember that. It was one of those things. So Kevin J. Anderson had to make a quick turnaround and find a replacement for that, because he was 3 days from his deadline of submitting it. And so he had to quickly rewrite that, or slightly rewrite the character of Score to be someone else. And I'll talk about that when we get to that book in 10 more years. But what do I think of the classic Star Wars comics or / newspaper strips? I thought they were fantastic. I really did enjoy them. Again, I think there's a lot of creativity and a lot of imagination. We see it pour out on the pages. And, love it or hate it, you still got to admit, this is something that kept the expanded. This was expanded universe, by the way. This was basically the only thing coming out. There weren't many books coming out. Remember, there was Splinter of the Mind's Eye, the Han Solo, and the Lando trilogy. So books weren't that much, but the comic books were out there, the newspaper strips were out there, and this is what was stoking the flames as the original trilogy was coming out. That's all you had. So in a way, this was the expanded universe in a very big and impactful time for people who were around and alive at the time. That was the only extra Star Wars they could find. So is it worth your time? Folks, I think so. All right, that's all the time I have for now. See you later with another video.